Whether you're the kind who saves your pennies for a rainy day or one who takes a gamble on Las Vegas, you might find that a little chocolate goes a long way. These edible lookalikes are made at Madeline Chocolate Novelties in Rockaway Beach, New York. The colorful foils that wrap these clever confections create the illusion.
All our foils are designed for us in Italy. We work with the designers, but it gives it a beautiful printing that no one else seems to be able to match.
To make Vegas-style poker chips, foil decorated with monetary value is threaded into a special machine. Chocolate blanks are transformed into brightly colored gaming pieces.
As you can imagine, these are very popular in casinos, i.e. Las Vegas, where, in fact, they look so authentic that we once got a call from one of the casinos complaining that our $100 chip looked too much like the real thing.
Last year, Madeline Chocolates produced $900 million worth of these fun fakes. That is, after you add up the face value on the foil.
If you run out of real chips, you can have fun with the chocolate chips. You can leave them on a rug and just sit back and watch who notices them, the old dollar on the sidewalk trick. It definitely entertains you if you've run out of money to gamble with.
But if you're more of a penny pincher than a gambler, you might like the realism of these copper bits. A machine simultaneously stamps the front and back of the chocolate pennies with the design. Up to 7,200 coins an hour.
Our die press coin stamping machines exert about 1,000 pounds per square inch.
The result is a coin that looks like the real thing. But pennies don't have to be the only change in your chocolate piggy bank.
The U.S. Mint came to us to have us make copies of their commemorative state quarters,
which include New York, Rhode Island, Kentucky, and Vermont. The secret behind these popular edibles is simple.
In most cases, our inspiration comes from everyday objects that people are familiar with, they're comfortable with, but they might never have seen as a chocolate novelty product.
Next, chocolate doesn't stop at chips. Coming up, see how chocolate blooms into another creation. Welcome back to Unwrapped, where we're examining food fakes. You know, edible treats made to look like something not so edible. We saw earlier that chocolate souvenirs have become big business, and here's another example. Last year, Madeline Chocolate Novelty sold 240,000 dozen chocolate roses. That's nearly 3 million individual roses, or 141,000 pounds of these romantic treats. A rose is a rose is a rose, even if its petals are made of chocolate. Madeline Chocolate Novelties creates these sweet confections in the long stem variety. Packaged by the half dozen, candy bouquets have an advantage over the real thing.
For any way you can use a real rose, you can use these roses, but they will last longer and the petals won't fall off.
Madeline Chocolates didn't start out in the fake flower business, though. The original founders, who named their company after film star Madeline Carroll, began in the late 1940s with chocolate Easter eggs and bunnies. Since then, the chocolate novelty industry has virtually exploded. Today, tanker trucks deliver up to 45,000 pounds of liquid chocolate a day to Madeline's holding vats. The sweet stuff is then deposited into rose-shaped molds. A quick trip over a vibrating conveyor knocks out any air bubbles trapped in the liquid concoction. A centrifugal machine gently fans the molds to force the chocolate into a semi-solid shape.
Semi-solid means you still have a hollow product, but you have much more chocolate in that product than in a typical hollow product.
Once cooled, these rosebuds blossom with detail. Surprisingly, the idea behind this edible design came from a less than palatable source.
The inspiration for the chocolate rose came from one of our founders seeing a soap rose, and he got the idea that we could do the rose as a chocolate product.
To dress up the chocolate bulbs, a little something extra is required. Rose-colored foil feeds into a machine which stamps out aluminum petals.
The rose foil is not just a straight red foil. It has highlights printed into it that highlight the mold and match the mold inside. Gives it that great candy apple red look.
After workers enrobe the plain buds in their springtime garb, mechanized trimmers cut and smooth over the rough edges. When there are enough blooms to fill a rose garden, it's time to add the final touch. To ensure that love-struck Romeos aren't left empty-handed, a machine adds a stem without the thorns, of course.
The rose is attached to the stem with a little dollop of glue, and that will hold it through the process.
But attaching the stalk wasn't always a bed of roses.
Getting the rose to stay on the stem has been a progression. When we first invented the rose, we tried double-faced tape. It did not work. They fell off.
Runaway rosebuds are never allowed. These quality control checkers make sure you get a stem on every rose you receive. And just like a flower shop, Madeline gift wraps each individual bouquet for that special someone.
It's so much fun. You love getting flowers, and you love getting candy. Why not get a flower that's candy?
Madeline Chocolate Novelties is not just in the chocolate business. They also go through about 25,000 pounds of rose foil each year. And